Hi, welcome to the part 4 of this video series. In this video series, we are looking at AZ304 important exam questions. These are close to the real exam questions. Please focus on the concepts. The chances of getting these same questions or similar questions is very high. Please subscribe to my channel and like my videos. It keeps me motivated to put on some more contents similar in nature. Please note if you go through these videos, the chances of clearing the exam is pretty high. The key is how to arrive at the right answer, identifying the keywords, and having the concepts clarified for each and every option. Now let's jump to the questions. For questions 1 to 20, please refer parts 1 to 3 of this video series. Our first step is to understand the story. Now in this question, we need to identify two actions that we should recommend out of these options. There are 5 options given. So the first one says create a render farm. So if you see, there are 3 options which suggest render farm. So we will look at first what is a height map data. Height map data is usually a raster image. It is also called height field data. This is a raster image. Okay, so it has all specifics of that image. So it is pretty evident that we will need super computing power, because you know you are calculating a 3D geometry, so it requires super compute power and a lot of compute. This is the basic crux of this story. So if you create a render farm, like 3 options are there with render farm. Render farm is just a farm of computers, or farm which provides heavy computes. Lot of compute nodes are there. So let's look at first option first. Create a render farm that uses Azure Batch. So usually we use Batch for running large parallel jobs, high performance compute jobs. This is definitely a use case of high performance compute. So if you see this documentation, it is used to run large scale parallel and HPC jobs efficiently. It creates and manages a pool of compute nodes. That is enough for our answer. This looks correct because we need this sort of arrangement. Option B, it says you create a render farm with virtual machines. See, just a simple virtual machine will not help here. You need to maximize the number of nodes. These are compute nodes to calculate multiple scenes faster. So that means you need high performance clusters. High performance computing is the need which this option cannot provide. Hence B is wrong. Option C, parallel task execution on compute nodes. This is what we need. We need parallelism, because you have to do so many things as fast as possible. So you need parallelism. This is right. Let's look at option D. It says you create a farm which uses VM scale sets. See, scale sets, what it does is, if one VM cannot do the job, it will add 10 more VMs. If 10 VMs cannot do the job, it will add 100 VMs. See, here the need is high performance compute. So VM is out of question. See, when you already have batch and already have parallel task execution, why you need VMs? Even scale sets will not suffice for such requirements. See, here you need rocket. What we are telling is, either this option B is a bullock cart. You sit on a bullock cart or sit on a bicycle. And option D is your Ferrari car. Even Ferrari won't help because you need a rocket for this kind of stuff. See, parallel file systems will not work. This is a part of Azure storage where you have parallel file system. This will not work here. You need parallel compute, not parallel file storage. So E is wrong. So this is the right answer. We will move forward to the next question. So here it is saying you have two tires and this application runs on two tires and they are implemented as separate Dockers. These two are separate Docker based Linux image. So the requirement is front tire. It should be accessible publicly on port 80. So you have users here and those users will connect to this front tire, tire 1 through port 80, which is fine. The backend tire must be accessible through port 8080 from front end tire only. See, this is very important. This backend tire might be anything. It can be uh, Azure function writing something to a database, or it can be a database also. So it has to be secure. Nobody should be able to access it directly. That's why the only way to access it is through tier 1. And it says both containers should access same Azure file share, which is fine. So here both containers will use the same file share. And if a container fails, the application must restart automatically. That means if tier 2 fails, the application would fail. It should restart. If tier 1 fails, the application would fail. It should restart automatically. And needless to say, money is the most important thing in modern day life. So your cost must be minimized. On cloud, it is always important to minimize costs because in the first 6 months, people might think I'm saving a good amount of money. But if you compare the cost of 4 to 5 years of running on cloud versus on-prem, you realize that with 3 years of running on cloud, you could have bought the entire infrastructure and set up yourself. So that's why you should always go for fine tuning from cost perspective, especially when you are working on cloud. There is a saying, treat your infrastructure as a cattle and not as your pet. So the moment you get a chance to kill your instances, delete your VMs, if it is no longer required, treat it as a cattle. Don't treat it as a pet. Kill it. Get rid of it. Now, if I want to host this application, where should I host? So, AKS. Let's see what is AKS. So, AKS is usually a fully managed Kubernetes service. Service Fabric is a distributed systems platform. Why? It makes it easy to package and deploy reliable microservices and containers. It deploys containers and microservices. And Azure container instances, see, there is a restart policy for Azure container instances. That is what we need in our question. So you can restart it. So you can restart a container group while it is running. So this is what we need. So this is the right answer here because it has a good restart logic built in. It is comparatively it's a cost effective solution. The purpose of service fabric is just from a deployment standpoint. Here if you use container instances, you will get flexibility. You will have restart built in, and all the first two requirements can be satisfied automatically. So we will lock this answer and move forward. So let's look at this question. You need to deploy resources to host a stateless web app. If you have seen my previous video, I have explained what a stateless web app is. So I'll repeat it. If you are accessing Amazon.com and you bought a pen and a book and it is in your cart and the system crashes that time, so you as a customer would expect that your cart data should be as it is. You should have two items there. So if that is the requirement, that is called stateful application. Stateless means there is no obligation of showing those two items in your cart. So if you have applications that way where you don't have that obligation, then we are fine. That is called stateless web app. Now here you have these three requirements. Like we saw, uh, the one of the requirement which is key here is provide redundancy if Azure region fails. That means we need a global load balancer. So this traffic manager is a global load balancer. This suffices. This looks correct. And then it says grant administrators access to the operating system to install custom applications. So if always remember, if you need access to the operating system, you would need virtual machines for that. That's a thumb rule. So this solution looks correct because they have two virtual machines and with a traffic manager profile, because you need global redundancy. You need to account for a regional failure. So you need a global load balancer. So the answer here is yes, because this solution meets this requirement. So this is the right answer. Let's move forward. So this is the question. You plan to deploy multiple instances of web app across regions. You need to design an access solution for the app. So these are the requirements. It should support rate limiting. What is rate limiting? See, Traffic Manager is a global load balancer and it has a DNS based. It is DNS based, but it does not support rate limiting. Rate limiting is a feature of uh, front door. Front door is also a global load balancer. Hence, in this case, the answer is no. The right answer for such question or for this question is using a front door. And what does rate limiting mean is it front door can work with WAF so that the number of requests per minute can be limited because you have to save your resources from getting overloaded, and hence you use rate limiting. It's like if one laborer can do uh, suppose five things in 1 hour, so you as a supervisor will rate limit. Now somebody is just doing overflow of work for this laborer. They are telling you do 10 work, you do 15 work, you do 20 work, but you are the rate limiter. You say only 5 work can be done. Similar to that, here also the rate limiting is done by WAF used along with it is used along with your front door. So in this case, the answer is no. This is the right answer. Let's move forward. Now the same question with a different solution. It says use Azure load balancer. It will not work because load balancer is a regional load balancer. It is not a global load balancer. So this criteria ensures the users can access the app in the event of regional outage will not work. If there's a regional outage, the load balancer will fail and there is no global load balancer. So this will not suffice. Hence the answer is no. So this is the answer. Let's move forward. Now here we have the same question. I have marked the answer as yes because like I explained, we are using Azure Front Door to access the app. Azure Front Door is a global load balancer. So in case of regional failure, it will help because it's a global load balancer and it can support rate limiting. You have to use it with WAF so that the number of requests per minute to your application is rate limited. And it is a load balancing property most of the load balancers, it balances the request between all instances. If you have 5 instances, so load balancer, what it's a basic property. If you have 5 instances and if you have 5 requests, it will send one request each to each of these 5 VMs. If you have 100, it will divide by 5 and send so that every VM is utilized properly. Okay, so it will balance it. It will never do like it will utilize 90% of first VM and it will just utilize 10% of rest of the VMs. It will try to balance it out so that all of the VMs are utilized in a consistent manner. Now pause this question, read it, try to answer it because it's similar question, but the solution is different. So you try to solve it first by pausing this video and then you look at the answer in this video. Okay, I hope by now you must have understood the story and you must be having an answer. So what is happening is, like we told in the previous question somewhere, Azure Virtual Machine. So whenever we see administrators access operating system, so access to operating system means you need access to the VM. Only through VM you can do it because VM is infrastructure as a service. If you are using Azure Synapse Analytics, you cannot access the operating system because it is based on a PaaS stuff. So if you see this, whenever you see access required to operating system access can only be given on virtual machines. So this looks correct. Now let's look at the other one, Azure region failures. If there are Azure region failures, then you need a global load balancer. Azure Application Gateway is a regional load balancer. If one region fails, then your system will not be accessible because application gateway doesn't work globally. So the answer for this is no. Let's move to the next question. So same question but a different solution has been proposed. They are proposing virtual machine scale set using auto scaling as a solution. So if you see here, access to operating system, your virtual machine scale set will work. Okay, but if you are looking at this one, as your region fails, then this will not work because this scale set will spawn in a single region. If today you have two VMs and you have put a scale set on for auto scaling, and because of the extra load, it creates four more VMs. Total there are six VMs now. But if there is a regional failure, data center fails, the entire region fails actually. Not one data center, but all the availability zones fail, the region fails. Then what happens is there is no backup in another region because scale sets just scale up in the same region. So this solution will not work. So the answer here is no. Let's look at the last question for this video. So you are developing a web application for streaming video to users. So the first thing, like a technique to solve any question, is the moment you see streaming, you think about Netflix. The moment you see Netflix, think about CDN, content delivery network. Why? Because Netflix wants to display the content to you without any interruption, without any uh, you know high latency. It wants to give you at very low latency so that it's instant. Imagine you are watching a Family Man 2. It's very famous episodes going on, and the moment the lead actor is fighting some terrorists, it is buffering. Your Netflix is buffering. Would you like it? You won't like it, right? So that's why CDN, content delivery network, so that the users do not get that buffering. They should get low latency, no buffering. So here it says app should be highly available and provide continuous streaming, exactly like Netflix does. The second thing is you need to recommend a solution that allows application to store data in a geographical location that is closest to the user. For example, if you're watching Family Man, so that is closest to India, so it will be somewhere in that geographical region. Similar to that, it can also happen that they may create CDN networks, and for uh, Bangalore they may keep it in a region which is near them. So CDN is like content delivery network meant for this purpose, so that there is zero buffering. I mean, if the buffering has happened in the background, it will happen, but you won't see an interruption because of buffering. See, Redis cache, it works for database. It sits on top of database. If you are firing similar queries, or there are similar reports, it will keep it in the cache, the outputs, so that you get an experience, a high performance experience. The moment you will fire the report, you will get the data instantly. You will think the report is awesome, but that is happening because it is using the Redis cache which sits on top of the database. See, web apps is just used to create web applications, nothing great about it to give you continuous streaming experience. Let's look at option D, app service isolated plan. What it does is, you have a separate, you're using dedicated infrastructure, dedicated network, dedicated infrastructure of Azure data centers. But here it will not help because you want to give the content nearest to the users. You can only do it through CDN. So thumb rule, in summary, you see streaming, close your eyes. It's most likely a use case of CDN. So this is the right answer. So please subscribe to my channel and like my videos. This brings us to the end of part 4 of this video series. We'll see you in the next part.